Hey guys, today we're gonna go through the best builds and runes and items for low elo for patch 10.15. I hope you guys gonna enjoy it and test it out, and see what you think about it. Looking forward to hear comments about it. So anyway, we're gonna start with the best builds at the moment for iron. Hope you guys can enjoy it. So anyway, the first rune page is gonna be sorcery with domination. In the sorcery tree, we go Summonery, Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, and Gather Storm. For domination, we go Ghost Power and Ultimate Hunter. This rune page is extremely good for scaling. Plus, you got like Shorter City on the ultimate as well, which can be really good. I think this rune page is really nice in low elo, just because in low elo, like the games are usually a bit slower, so you have easier time to scale up, and that's why I think this is one of the best rune page for iron at the moment. So feel free to test it out. Let's go into the ability skill max. So anyway, it's kind of straightforward with the ability max. We take our focus is to just max Q, and then secondary we take W. The good part about this this ability max page is like you got pretty much good damage early game, and it can help you to like get through the laning phase with a lot better pressure in the laning phase as well. In low elo general, people are a bit more passive, so the extra damage can actually be really good for the Soraka, I think, and just help your AD carry out to have a bit easier laning phase. So test this out, guys, and see what you think about it. Let's get into the build with this rune page. So for the build, it's gonna be like Spell Thief, 2 potions, and the warding item as well. The Spell Thief have been buffed for 10.15, so I suggest you take it most of the times instead of the relic. I just think like Spell Thief is so good at the moment on Soraka. I was a big fan of relic before, but Spell Thief is most likely the way to go at the moment. I feel like if you don't go Spell Thief, you will lose so much mana regen in the laning phase, and it takes away a lot of damage from you as well. So do that. So anyway, for the build, it's gonna be Ionic boots, the CDR boots. They're really good for scaling as well. You can cast your abilities a bit faster, etc. Athene's his first item. It is just, I mean, personally, I think it's the best item for Soraka. It just has such a good hit in it. So usually I tend to go Athene's myself first as well, nearly every game. And Ardent is gonna be your second or third item. It depends. If your team benefit from Ardent, go Ardent secondary. If you have like AD carry like Ezreal, Lewis, maybe a Yin, and not a scaling AD carry, or the game is not going that good for your carries, just go Redemption maybe, and delay the Ardent for the third item instead. So that's for the build for the first build for iron. Let's get into the secondary rune page. So the secondary rune page is gonna be Resolve with domination. In Resolve, we go Guardian, Font of Life, Bone Plating, Revitalize. For the domination, we go Zombie Ward and Ultimate Hunter. This one I would take into like a bit harder matchups. Let's say you play versus like hard engage plus a Kalista Draven in the enemy team. Then this rune page can be really good. The Ultimate Hunter is perfect still. It gives you a little bit less CD on your ultimate, which can be really cool to have. The Zombie Ward is really interesting. Like every time you sweep a ward, you spawn a own ward as well that can give vision to your team. It can be really crucial. So test this out into like harder matchups, I would say. This can help you survive a lot easier. Let's get into the ability max. Okay, so for the ability max, it's gonna be the W max. It kind of makes sense with the Guardian. Just because, like, as I said before, you take usually Guardian into like harder matchups, and if the lane is going bad or like you don't have the edge in the lane, W max is a bit more forgiving than the Q max. Just to help you survive, keep your allies alive as well, and stuff like that. So the W max, it's gonna be first, and then after that you take Q max. So let's go into the build for the Guardian page as well. So the build is gonna be close to the same as the last rune page. I mean, you will start with Spell Thief, 2 potions, and the Sweeper instead. You start with the Sweeper mainly just because you took Zombie Ward in the rune page. So every time you sweep a ward, you spawn a ward. So it's really good. It's really good with a Sweeper, I think. For the build, it is the same. You go Ionic Boots, Athene's Ardent, Redemption. As I said before, you take Ardent if you have like scaling AD carry that benefits from Ardent, and if your team is doing good. Let's say you have a Graves jungle or a Corki mid that is doing good as well. You can go Ardent then as well. Otherwise, just delay Ardent for later and just build Redemption secondary. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy the Iron 2 rune pages. So let's get into the Bronze page now. Okay, so let's go into the Bronze builds 2 rune pages. Okay, so for the first rune page, it will be Sorcery with Domination. It is kinda the same rune page, I would say, but difference. You got Somnary, Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, Gathering Storm for Sorcery. For Domination, you go Ghost Power and Ultimate Hunter. I think this rune page is still really good for the scaling. The Sorcery is the same. Transcendence, Gathering Storm is just so good for the scaling, and Ultimate Hunter gives you lower CD on your ultimate, which can be really clutch in helping your team to survive around the map. Same with Ghost Power. It provides you like with every time your ward expires, it spawns a new ward. That can be really clutch, actually. So test this out, guys, and let's go into the ability max. So for the ability max, since it's like Sorcery rune page, we will go the Q max again, and then W max. It is not much to say about it. It is just like Q max is more stronger for the laning phase. So usually take the Sorcery page into like good matchups for Soraka that you don't have too much problems with and can like survive easier in. And then you should be able to help you AD carry out and have a good pressure in the laning phase. Let's go over to the build. So the build is the same. It is Spell Thief, 2 potions, and a ward. And the items is like the Ionic Boots, Athene's Ardent, Redemption. Not much to say. The builds are kinda the same. The core build for Soraka is like tier 2 boots, usually Ionic Boots, Boost of Swiftness, or Movie Boots. It is up to you. I think for scaling, Ionic Boots is the way to go. And the rest of the core is like Athene's Ardent, Redemption. That's kinda the core build for Soraka build at the moment on every elo, I would say. So let's go over to the next page. So the next rune page is gonna be Resolve with Domination. It will be Guardian, Font of Life, Bone Plating, Revitalize. And Domination gonna be Zombie Ward, Ultimate Hunter. As we said before, the Guardian page is mainly for like surviving the lane into like hard engage and really hard matchups. The Ultimate Hunter gives you less CD on your ultimate, which can be really nice. And the same with Zombie Ward. Every time you sweep a ward, you spawn a new ward for yourself, which can be really good. You both deny vision for the enemies, plus you get vision from it yourself. That's actually really useful. Let's go into the ability max for the Guardian page. So for the Guardian page, it will be the W max, and Q max gonna be secondary. As I said before, Guardian you take into like harder matchups, so it makes sense to go the W max into this just to survive, let your AD carry survive as well, and just, I mean, try to get through the laning phase. Let's see the builds. So the item build, actually the only thing we swap out is a sweeper. We still go Spell Thief, 2 potions, and then a sweeper, of course. We take Ionic Boots and Affine's Ardent Redemption. Not much to say about it. It is the standard build, guys. It will not change much from what ally you are. It can maybe change like that you take Affine's into Redemption and maybe go Shirelia instead of the Ardent. That's kind of the difference. But the highest win rate build at the moment is like Affine's into Ardent Redemption, if your team is suited for that build. So anyway, let's go over to the silver room page. So let's go over to the silver allo and see what we can find here. So for the first room page in silver, it is kinda the most standard room page ever, I think, for Soraka. It would be sorcery with resolve. It is in sorcery, it's Summonery, Manaful Band, Transcendence, and Scorch. Resolve is gonna be Bone Plating and Revitalize. It is a really good standard room page, I would say. Got a bit scaling, got a bit extra damage from Scorch as well. So overall, really good room page. Test it out, guys. It has been probably the most played for a lot of patches for sure. So test it out if you haven't, guys. Let's go over to the ability max. So for the ability max, it is a bit weird actually when I start to check at the numbers, but the highest win rate for the sorcery room page plus ability max is the W max. What I mean is a bit weird is like you take Scorch in the sorcery page, which is meant to like give you a better early game. So it makes sense to actually Q max with that. But the W max got a bit higher win rate than the Q max. So I mean, that's why we take the W max. I think W max is a lot more forgiving if the lane is going bad, and it's kind of good if the lane is going good as well. Just as long as you slow play it. That's what you need to do. You need to like trade, sustain up, trade, sustain up, and maybe go in, all in, like that. And that's why it's a pretty good overall ability max for this room page, I would say. Let's go over to the items. So for the item, it will be Spell Thief with 2 potions and the Yellow Trinket. For the items, it will be Ardent Sword, Ionic Boots, Affine's, and Redemption. I would say like this: you can either go like Affine's or Ardent first item with this room page and ability max. Just because like if your team doesn't benefit from the Ardent, just take the Affine's instead. But if you have a scaling AD carry and he's doing fine, go the Ardent max and see what you like about it. I think it's a really solid item build path, and test it out with this room page and ability max. And let's go into the second room page. So for the second room page in our silver allo, it would be Guardian with Inspiration. So the Guardian page is gonna be Guardian, Font of Life, Bone Plating, Revitalize. In the Inspiration side, it would be Biscuits and Cosmic Insight. This room page is really good versus hard engage and hard matchups. The Biscuit help you get a bit more sustain in the lane, and the Cosmic Insight give you a bit more CDR as well, which is really good, I would say. So take this room page into harder matchups, I would say. It would be a perfect one, especially versus like double long range poke. I think this is a pretty solid room page. Let's go into the ability max. So for the ability max, it would be the W max as well. It seems like in silver allo, the W max have a bit higher win rate, and the highest win rate of all the ability max. So I guess you just gotta go with it. It makes sense. It is, as I said before, and I say again, it is a bit more forgiving. Depends on how the lane is going. And I mean, you just gotta play it slow, sustain up. I mean, to be honest, Soraka's strength is mid and late game. There's where we shine. And if you already have like strong heals for a team fight, it's gonna be easier, you know, to just keep your teammates alive. So let's see and what we can find in the item builds for this room page. So for the items, it would be Spell Thief, 2 potions, and the Yellow Trinket. The items, it would be you rush Affines with Ionic Boots, Ardent, and Redemption. This is probably the most standard page. Really like this page as well. Maybe, as I said before, you can swap out Ardent for Affines and just build Ardent first. If you have like really good scaling AD carry, he's like smurfing, etc. If you notice your AD carry not doing too good, go Affines, or like that you don't have a scaling AD carry. Go Affines first and maybe build Ardent later on. Just build Redemption secondary. Anyway, that was it for the low elo builds. I hope you guys gonna enjoy it and find it useful. And overall, I look forward to hearing back from you guys.